server administration. I figured we could kind of just go over the lab this week because I felt like the PowerPoint was pretty straightforward. So you guys can read through it. It's really a lot of screenshots of your environment, different tools within Windows Server that you could use. So yeah, I think for this week and potentially moving forward, we're just going to stick with the labs, like just walking through it just so you guys are comfortable. If you guys have any questions when you're lost doing it yourselves, you guys can reference this video just to see where you potentially made your mistake. So right now I am at the very beginning of this lab, installing server core. So the only steps you guys missed were I had a power on plab DMO1. Within plab DMO1, the server manager will open. I just clicked on tools, I clicked on Hyper-V manager, and that's where I am right now. The lab wants us on step 2 to right click the server right here, and we're going to create a new virtual machine. So just right click new virtual machine, then this window will show up. So that's step 3. It wants you to, the wizard will open, it wants you to click next. Here it wants you to specify the name, so they have a specific name they want to give it. So we're going to do plab D MC or mcore, and it's all uppercase, and then it's 02. So it does want us to select store the virtual machine in a different location checkbox. So we will click on that. In the location text box, it wants us to type over the existing folder path, so it doesn't want this one. It does want us to put it on the D drive, so we will do just that. Then we will click next. So for this, it wants us to specify generation. Verify the generation 1 is the option, and then click next. And now we're at the assigned memory. So it does want us to use the default of 1024. So just make sure it's on that. Keep default specification and click next. Now for connection, so it says on the configure networking page, it says change connection drop down list to Hyper-V network adapter. So just we'll click on that, make sure you change it, and then hit next again. So step 8, on the connect virtual hard disk page, keep the default specification, then hit next. So we're not doing anything here. Everything's good. And step 9, so installation options. We want to select install an operating system from a bootable CD DVD-ROM. So it's the second option. We're going to want to verify that's the Z that's selected, the Z drive, and then hit next. A lot of next. So step 10, completing the new virtual machine wizard page. We're just verifying all the changes we made. We're gonna hit finish. Now it's doing its thing. So we'll wait for Hyper-V to create the new virtual machine. Did it rather quick, and I believe, what did we name it? I believe it was 02. So step 12, you are directed back to Hyper-V Manager. It says notice the new virtual machine, core 02 is created. It wants us to, it does want us to turn it on. So we'll right click it, press connect, press start, and we'll wait 1 second while it turns on. And so we're opening up the virtual machine we just created in plab BDMO1. So we'll wait for that to power on. So that's basically step 1 through 3, just waiting for its power on. I believe we're on step 4. So once we see the Windows logo, you've entered into the Windows setup screen. Click on view, click on full screen. So we'll do just that. So now it's allowing us to set up Windows. So this is a lot like the first week's lab where we had to install Windows on a virtual machine. So let's see what specifications they want for this. English fine, click next, press install. Obviously, as you know, last week it took a while, but we're going to wait it out. Going to wait for it to install. And then once it does install, we can basically skip all the way to step 8. It does want us to click on the standard version that's already selected for us. So we'll hit next on that. License page will accept the license terms. Let's see what installation type it wants. It does want us to click custom, so we'll go with custom. The allocation of space looks like it's fine. We'll click next here. Okay. So while we wait for this, we'll see how many steps we have left. So that is step 12, waiting for the installation of Windows. Step 13, once it finishes, it's going to automatically restart, so nothing we have to do there. Step 14 just tells you to ignore the press any key to boot, so we can ignore that step as well. Step 15 will be once Windows does finish installing and the Windows icon shows after it reboots. So we don't really have to do anything there. Step 16, okay, so step 16 is the next step in line. And then you should get to the screen I'm on. And for this screen, it does say, oh, it even tells you press tab to move forward. Okay, I don't read the instructions. Confirm, on the confirm password prompt, type password, press enter. On the administrator, press OK. It's preparing, press enter. So step 22, Windows Server 2019 now opens the administrator CMD window. This window will be your interface to manage your server core computer. We're going to keep it open. So, okay, once you get to this point, then you're going to take the screenshot. As you guys can see, I took the screenshot. Great. And we'll go to next. So, I'm going to close this window. I should probably hit the do not show again, but we'll just, it's your choice. I just close it every time I go step by step. So step 1 on page 4, ensure you are connected to PLAB-MO1, PLAB-DMO1, running the core that we created. So to verify the randomly generated computer name, we're going to type hostname. Okay. So step 2, the computer name assigned to this virtual machine is displayed. Please note that in your actual lab it's going to be different than the screenshot, but I can't even see their screenshot, it's so small. So now you'll now use Windows PowerShell to rename the computer. Okay, so on the next prompt, type PowerShell. Okay, it just transfers us into PowerShell, so that's why we see PS in front of our regular C drive path. So press enter. So step 4, we're going to rename the computer. So we're just going to type in the syntax that it gives us of rename dash computer dash new name. And then they want us to name it a specific PLAB DM core. Just make sure I type it exactly the same. O2. Press enter. Okay, it's going to change the next time we restart the computer, but let's see, do they want us to do it now? Okay, we're not going to restart just yet. So that's it for task 1. So task 2, assign a static IP address. So it's a lot of the same stuff we did in the first lab on that virtual machine that we created. So we'll continue to go through it. So ipconfig, we're on step 1 of task 2. ipconfig/all. And we're still within the Windows PowerShell window. So, okay, gives us that information. It has the IP address of 169.254.104.96. but we're probably going to change that now. So step 3 does have us. Okay, so now we're going to set a static IP address to that Ethernet connection. So it's a very long syntax, but so it's new net IP address. Yeah, okay, IP is uppercase, IP address 192.168.0.7 dash I would say this is next, yeah, alias Ethernet dash prefix length, I can't spell, length 24. Hopefully the spacing was correct there. Yep. Okay, so notice that the IP address for Ethernet has changed to 192.168.0.7. And it does show us that that does come up when we press enter. So step 4. Notice that you get a successful confirmation after configuring a static IP address. Okay. So now it wants us to set a preferred DNS server. So once again, really long syntax to do this. Make sure you type everything in right. So address dash interface alias Ethernet dash server addresses 192.168.0.1. Okay, and press enter. We don't get any confirmation that what we entered in was right, but I believe if, yeah, it wants to do ipconfig all, and it should show us a new DNS server that we put. So yeah, DNS server is 192.168.0.1. So now step 7, locate. Okay, good on that. So now we're gonna verify that the computer name can resolve host names in the practicelabs.com domain. So we're gonna ping plab dco1.practicelabs.com. I spelled it wrong. .com. So we are getting replies, so it does reach. So that's good. So step 9. Okay, now they want us to shut it down so that it could change the computer name. So we'll do just that. It's going to restart. So now we would be about on step 10. Okay, so please wait while plabdm core 02 restarts. When it has completed the restart, you're going to get the press Control Alt Delete to unlock the screen prompt. And to do so, we would have to click the connection bar, click the restore down button for the virtual machine right there. So now we do the password that we created, so password. And now it's going to start up. So we're back in. So let me just get back to where I am. Step 13. So step 13, the window opens up. Keep the command prompt window open for the next activity. So that's task 2. So task 3, add computer to Active Directory domain. So we have to get back into PowerShell. We will add the computer. So add, again, super long syntax, domain credential, practice labs forward backslash administrator, domain name practice labs.com. So as long as I didn't type anything wrong, okay, good. So we should get a credential request box. In it, we're gonna type in the password of password. Press OK. Okay, we're in. So now they want us to shut down again. So we'll just do that. We'll wait again. I'm gonna minimize the window because I'm gonna need to Control Alt Delete again. So we'll wait for that to shut down and restart, and then we're gonna verify the server logon to domain, which is task 4, because we just did the adding of the computer to the Active Directory domain. So we're going to do the Control Alt Delete again. We'll give it a second to give us the message to do so. Okay, so enter in password. Okay, now I'm going to make it big again. So that's that. Enter in password. So step 3. Oh, you know what? Okay, so it didn't actually want us to do that. Go to PowerShell again. We're gonna shut it down one more time. They want us to log in as another user, so I'm gonna have to get out of this admin account and go in as someone else. So I'll just wait for it to shut down again, and then we'll do it. We'll have to log in as someone else. I believe they want us to log in as practice labs / administrator, and the password would be password. Yep. So, but to get another user, we're gonna have to select sign in, or select the sign in option for administrator, or hit escape to switch users. So first we'll do this, then we'll hit escape. Does it allow us to hit escapes? Yeah. Okay, so you could just hit escape on, well, I hit it twice. On my keyboard, and I don't have down arrows. Okay, just enter. Okay, so now we'll do username of practice labs / administrator. Enter or tab, and then we'll go for the password of password. Enter. So it is taking it, and it should take us all the way to, yep, so administrator.practice labs. So I'll take a screenshot of that. So that is page 4 of 6, and I believe that was task 4. So we'll do next. Close this again. So still leave that page up. I'm actually going to make this big again. So full screen mode. So step 2, they do want us to enable remote management. So we just have to enter in this command, quick config. It's already running on this machine. Okay. So after that they do want us to, yeah, it's gonna say message is already running. Messages. So they want us to minimize this. Okay. We'll minimize it. We'll go back to the Hyper-V. We will go to, not necessarily the Hyper-V. They want us to go to Server Manager. They want us to go to Tools, Hyper-V Manager. No. PowerShell. There we go. So within PowerShell, we're running that same command. Win rm quick config. It's already running here too. Okay. So to start PowerShell remoting session with the virtual server we just created, we have to type in this command, session computer name plab dm core 02. Oh, okay. We're supposed to get an error message. I was about to say, what? Okay. To resolve this error, you will determine the current proxy settings on plab dmo1. Okay, so we have to enter in this command. Okay. So it says the current proxy servers is set to proxy 8080. This is used for connecting to the internet from this computer. On the next prompt, you will reset the proxy. So to do that, we would type in net sh win http reset proxy. Okay. The system indicates direct access, no proxy server. So on the next prompt, now we should be able to connect or establish PowerShell remote session to the virtual core that we created. So we'll try that. We'll try entering in this command again. So ps session computer name plab dm core 02 and okay. We get the error message again. The PS remote session is considered successful when the PS prompt is preceded by, okay. It's actually a different error message though. You know what? I wasn't supposed to put a space. I'm pretty sure that's the... it says enter is not recognized as the name of a CMD lit, so I believe that was where I made a mistake. Port 02. Let's see. Okay, it worked. Nice. Okay, so task 2. Ensure we're connected to plab and Windows PowerShell is open to install DNS server and DNS server tools type. Okay, so I believe we should still be within. Okay, so we're currently sitting on plab dmo1, but we have PowerShell open on that actual machine, but we're connected to a PowerShell connection, PowerShell remote connection to the virtual machine that we just created. So that's why it says PS, and then it gives us the path of that specific admin user, but it's on the practice labs / documents path on the virtual machine. So we want to install DNS server and DNS server tools, and we do that by typing in add, there's no space here, don't make the mistake I made, DNS I don't believe there's a space here. DNS server, we'll see. I mean, if it gives me an error, then there was no space. Management tools, and then there is a space. It looks like it took it. Yeah, it took it. Okay, so starting from DNS, comma, that's all one word, all the way up until server. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah. It did take its starting installation as we see at the very top. So we'll wait for that to do that. Windows PowerShell will return a success, as it did, towards the bottom down here. So that's task 2. It does say minimize Windows PowerShell, so we're done with that for now. Uh, manage DNS server. Okay, so we'll go back to the dashboard. We'll go to Tools, we'll go to DNS, which should be... am I blind? Oh, you know what? We're done with this machine, actually. We have to switch machines to plabs DC, the domain controller, 01. And now we go to Tools, and now we go to DNS. Okay. We're going to right-click DNS, right-click DNS node, and select Connect to DNS server. Okay. Connect to DNS server. Set the following computer on the activated type box on the following computer. We'll do plab DM core 02. Okay. So now we should be able to notice that PM is now added to the managed servers list. Click PM DM02 core or plab DM core 02 server and notice that subnodes appear on the right pane. Okay. So that's task 3. Pretty straightforward. So task 4, create a secondary DNS zone. So they want to ensure you are connected to plabs DC 01 and the DNS manager window is open as it is. Expand the core, so expand that. Right click forward lookup zones and select new zone. Okay. So the wizard will show up. Click next. Click secondary zone. We're going to name this zone practicelabs.com. We'll click next. Here we have to give it the IP address of 192.168.2.168.0.1, and we're going to click out of it just so that it shows up there. Oh, wait, actually, do they want us to type more? No, that's all you type. So click next, and we'll click finish. Okay, so back on the DNS manager window under plab DM core 02, expand forward lookup zones. So zone not loaded by DNS server. Expand forward lookup zones, then select right click practice labs. Okay, select properties, click zone transfers, do allow zone transfers to any server, and then we'll press do apply and then OK. Back on DNS window, click practice labs node. Okay. The error is going to persist because of delays in zone transfer. Right click anywhere on DNS window to select refresh. Actually, we could just do it here. So on let's backtrack a little bit. So the last thing I did was the wizard. I closed the wizard, so P expand forward lookup zones. Okay, so we need to go here. So we did create this zone a little bit earlier, but it was not populating. Um, I guess it just took time to populate. So same as parent folder, same as parent folder. So that's what we wanted. So now we can take a screenshot, and that's it for task. What task is this? Task 4 on page 5. We'll go next, and these are just the questions, and that's it for the lab. So it was relatively long. Um, I'm gonna cut this video a bit just so that the important stuff's in there. Unless you guys want to watch me struggle, no, I'll cut the video, and that's week 2. It's basically just playing around in Windows Server. Um, nothing too crazy.